Welcome to Women's Million Dollar Conversations with Alice Tang, where we share stories from successful businesswomen on how they've built their success and insights to help you achieve your goals. Now, let's join the conversation.
We're very happy to have my good friend Laura Salerno Owens, who is a powerful attorney among states, and she's international too. She's gonna come get you with our today's Women's Million Dollar Conversation. To be on this show, our guests have accumulated either $1 million, have made $1 million annual income, or have struck $1 million deal. Hi, Laura. Welcome.
Hello. Alice said, I'm Laura Salerno Owens, and I am an attorney, and I've been practicing law for 15 years in Portland, Oregon.
Awesome, Laura. How long does it take for you to get to your $1 million? And tell us, is that asset, is that income, or everything? You hit all the marks.
So for today's conversation, when we're talking about $1 million, for me, it's bringing in $1 million of business in 1 year. So that's the mark that I'm using. Because for lawyers, a big part, in addition to the technical skill, is the skill to actually develop business and bring in business. And so I had been practicing law for about 10 years before I hit the $1 million mark. And it was a huge goal for me, one I had always set. And it was one I set when I first started practicing and thought, I'll never be able to do that. And when in fact I did hit that goal, it was such an incredible experience. It was really, really remarkable.
Excellent. So you feel remarkable. What else did you feel?
Honestly, the overwhelming feeling I had was gratitude and a fun tradition at my firm where we really try to encourage each other's wins. And so one of my mentors is my firm's co-founder, Dave Markowitz. And he was sure I was going to hit $1 million. And so he told me, Laura, when you hit $1 million, we're going with our spouses to Vegas. And I was like, okay. And so when in fact that happened, what was so great about it is not only was it me and Dave and his wife and my husband, but I also brought my legal assistant and her husband and my marketing director and her husband, because I just knew there was no way that I got to that $1 million. By yes, of course I had Dave helping and guiding me, but it also was my legal assistant, keeping me organized, keeping me motivated, my accountability partner, my marketing director, helping me with ideas, helping me put things together. And so we had a celebration. We had a dinner at a private room. And it was just an opportunity to look around and just look at something that we all as a team built together. It was a really, really special time.
What I have heard from you is, yes, I did it, but I did it with a lot of people running with me. There is an African saying that if you want to run fast, run alone. If you want to run far, run together. You're demonstrating that, although you may not like running or...
I have a personal saying, I only run if I'm being chased.
By a lion or something in Africa. That's why it's African saying.
Yes.
So on your path to success in this journey, what is the biggest bias you have faced? I'm not specifically talking about gender, and a lot of my guests talk about gender, but any bias, internal or external, would you share with us and how you overcome that?
Yeah, I think a bias, obviously there's the obvious external bias of, oh, you're a woman, or oh, you have young children, so you can't go out networking, you can't do these things. But the one that I think is the biggest and most insidious bias is your own self-limiting beliefs. And so in this path, in this 10 years, I went from just starting to practice law to bringing over $1 million of business. During that time, I had 2 children and I took 2 full maternity leaves. So that was 6 months that I was out of the market. And I think some women would tell themselves, oh, if I disappear for 3 months, people aren't going to see me at events, people are going to forget about me, or if I have these children and I want to be a good mom, then I can't focus on rainmaking. And so those are the biases that I try to tell people that I mentor. It's your self-limiting belief that's the biggest bias. You absolutely can do it. And so the only way to do it is to do it. So you just do it every day, just a little piece. And I think one of the biggest things about rainmaking is you have to do it. It has to be a habit. It has to be the same way that every day you brush your teeth and do your other habits. It's just something, it can be small, but every single day, no matter how busy you are, it's just part of your habit, it's part of your DNA. And then you get incredible results. You really do.
I love it. So you basically covered the next question. What is the number one piece of advice you would give to other women looking to reach their $1 million? Is to put it in a habit and believe that you can.
Absolutely. Believe that you can, put into a habit. And then going back to what I was talking about with my team, get a team in place. So for example, I know I have many strengths, but keeping track of details is not necessarily one of my strengths. Whereas my legal assistant, Abby, is brilliant with that. And so delegating the things that you're not good at, empowering others because she is so good at it. And I grew up playing team sports. I love winning as a team. Creating a team atmosphere, I think for a lot of women, we are collaborative, if I can generalize a bit. So I would say that too. You don't have to do this alone and make it fun. Another thing I do with my business development is I often include my husband. And so for many years in the legal community, people thought my husband was a lawyer because he was at all the lawyer events and he was like, there's free food and drink. Why wouldn't I be here? So that's the thing.
I had the pleasure of meeting your husband, and he really can fake to be a lawyer because he's so astute. Of course, he's handsome, but don't tell David.
Well, and I think a lot of times we again, self-limiting belief, we think, oh, this has to be hard, or this has to be like, okay, I have to go out and schmooze and not be myself. And that actually doesn't have to be the case. One of the things I've enjoyed the most about my network is it's filled with people that I genuinely admire. And because of that, the rainmaking is a joy and it comes easily. And I think that translates when you're with people that you care about and people that you want to help, they feel that. And then they want to send you business, and then you give them the sterling experience, and then they tell your friends about it, and so on and so forth. So that's the other piece of advice I would give, is find a way to make it fun and make it part of your life.
Excellent, excellent. It is good to transition to how Laura make a decision. How do you process and get to make a big decision, especially when the stakes are very high? Some people say I collect a lot of information, I analyze and do all these, or talk with the right people. Some people say I use my, how do you do that?
So definitely I'm one being a lawyer, so I like to know my options, get all my evidence together, get all my information. But what I would say on this piece about how you make a decision in a high stakes environment is use the same skill sets you use when you're just making a decision that's not high pressured. And let me explain what I mean by that. I have a friend who's a very successful in real estate, and she always says, luxury is not a price point, it's a service, right? It's a service standard. And so in her mind, providing a luxury experience is not because it's a $3 million house. She brings the same rigor to a sale for a $3 million house as she does for an $80,000 condo. And I think that mindset really applies when you're making high pressure decisions. You know how to make decisions. You're smart, you have experience, you've been in your field. Just bring that same rigor, that same analysis to any issue, whether it's a small, so in my case with my clients, a small matter, or a multi-million-dollar class action, right? Either way, gather the information, weigh your options, and then ultimately, and this is sometimes the hardest part, make the call. And on that piece, I would say, make the call, because no matter what happens, you can rebound. And so when you free yourself of that fear of making a mistake and know that there really aren't mistakes, there are decisions that have consequences that then have other consequences, you can deal with it. And when you're freed of that fear, you're able to make much better decisions.
So free from the fear, and I think is a lifetime lessons for women and men, because anytime when we were contemplating for longer than needed time, I heard clutter is postponed decision, mental and spiritual clutter, because you're thinking around
right, you're
with
just
something that you should make a decision and you never made a decision.
Yeah, paralysis by indecision. And so it's important to be decisive and to be confident. I don't believe in regret. I don't regret any decision I've made. I don't regret anything that's happened to me, because everything has led to where I am now and who I am now. And so once you come to that realization that there really isn't a bad choice, a bad decision, the wrong thing, it's incredibly freeing, and it allows you to be really innovative and do great things.
This comment has really freed me up. There's no regrets. Just keep going.
Yep. I think that is one of the key things to being a rainmaker. There's so many people could wring their hands. Oh, is this the right thing? Or, oh, I should have landed that deal. Or, oh, that went sideways. And it's wasted energy. You have to just keep moving forward. And even the quote unquote bad things that happen present a gift and opportunity. And so you just, once you change that mindset that there's no such thing as bad news, there's no such thing as a regret, a bad thing, there are only gifts and opportunities, then the world's your oyster.
Wow. 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 I don't know if the next question pertaining to you, because what is the one thing you would do differently on your path to success, knowing what you know now? Because a lot and every single thing you say is quotable in a nugget.
It's interesting because obviously, so I've changed jobs. This firm is my third firm. And so some people might say, well, don't you wish you joined Markowitz Herbold right away? And of course, I love Markowitz Herbold. But again, to what I was saying earlier, I really think that every experience you have enriches you. And so I don't regret things. I don't look back and think, oh, I wish I had done this differently. What I do say is I do look at experiences and think, okay, I wasn't happy with the way that turned out, or that didn't land on me in the way that I wanted. But I'm glad that happened because now I know what to do differently going forward. So I think it's a similar idea, but rather than treating it as a static place of that happened and I feel regret, it's more of a moving thing of this happened. And so it informs me about where I want to go and how I'm going to move forward. And that to me feels more liberating and more empowering and energizing of, okay, it's a lesson that my life has taught me versus it's a burden I have to carry.
Oh my goodness. You made my day. Last question. What is one piece of good, very good advice, or very bad advice that has made a humongous impact on you?
When I was growing up, there was one person in my life who would always say, it has to be somebody, why not you? And I love that. I love that idea. It has, for any given thing, whether it's in your company, there has to be someone who's the number one rainmaker in any given company. Why not you? For an award, they have to give the award to somebody in the city. Why not you? Right? And I love that. It has to be someone. Why not me? And I think when you ask yourself that question, when there's an opportunity in front of you, someone has to win this bid. Someone has to win this case. Or someone has to get this recognition. Why not me? That to me has been very liberating and something I very much embrace.
Awesome. Thank you so much for spending time with us today, and a lot of great nuggets. Good luck in achieving your next $10 million deal or $1 billion deal.
I will say, when I was talking about the team and whatnot, you're one of my team members, Alice. You really are. Honestly, you are so inspirational, not just for me, but for so many women in our community. And so thank you. And thank you for showcasing this. This is awesome.